For 30 years, Nvidia sold chips. The hardware. The infrastructure. The shovels. Every AI company in the world bought Nvidia's hardware to train and run their models. Today, August 21, 2026, Nvidia paid $7 billion to get into the AI model business itself. The company that sells the shovels just started mining for gold. By the end of this video you will understand exactly what Nvidia bought, why the deal structure matters as much as the price, what it means for every AI company that depends on Nvidia hardware, and the question regulators are already starting to ask. First, what Nvidia actually bought. The startup is called Poolside AI. It has offices in the United States and Paris. It started as a developer of AI coding agents, tools that help engineers write, debug, and optimize code. It then pivoted to building something more foundational, infrastructure for creating AI models. The deal has 3 parts announced simultaneously today. Part 1, Nvidia pays $6 billion for a non-exclusive license to Poolside's Model Factory, the software system Poolside built to develop its own AI models. $6 billion for a license. Not ownership. A license to use the technology. Part 2, Nvidia invests $1 billion in Poolside at a $12 billion valuation, not counting that investment. Poolside continues operating as an independent company. The 3 co-founders stay. Part 3, 109 Poolside employees receive job offers from Nvidia. These are specifically the employees who worked on Poolside's Laguna family of AI models, variants called Laguna XS.2 and M.1, designed to write, debug, and optimize code. Nvidia is hiring the people who know how to build the models. The total, $6 billion in licensing plus $1 billion in investment. $7 billion committed. Plus the talent from 109 hires. Poolside's letter to investors, which is the primary source for this story, is explicit: this is not an acquisition and it is not an acquihire. The founders stay. The company continues. The technology is licensed, not transferred. Now what the model factory actually is. Most people think of AI products, the chatbot, the coding assistant, the image generator. The model factory is what sits underneath. The model factory is Poolside's system for the entire process of building AI models, data processing, training, and evaluation. It is the machinery that produced the Laguna models, and that could produce future models. What Nvidia is buying is not a model. It is the ability to build models, at scale, using a system that an experienced team has already built and tested. Nvidia already builds its own AI models. The Nematron line. These are open-source models Nvidia has been releasing and which put it in direct competition with some of its own customers. The model factory accelerates Nvidia's ability to build better models faster. With 109 of the people who built Poolside's models now receiving Nvidia job offers, the expertise transfers alongside the technology. Now the deal structure, because this is where it gets strategically significant. This is the 3rd time Nvidia has used exactly this structure. License the technology. Invest in what remains. Hire the key people. Leave the founders and the company technically independent. The first, Anthropic, a networking hardware startup, for roughly $900 million in September 2025. The second, Groq, in December 2025. $20 billion for a non-exclusive license to Groq's inference chip technology, plus hiring Groq's founder, its president, and much of its engineering team. Groq appointed new leadership after the talent departed. The third, Poolside, today. Poolside's founders wrote to investors that they chose this structure in part because on its own, Poolside would have needed more access to Nvidia hardware than was possible to continue competing in open-source model development. The deal solves Poolside's compute problem. And it solves Nvidia's talent and technology problems simultaneously. The structure also solves a third problem, regulatory review. A direct acquisition of an AI startup by Nvidia, the dominant infrastructure provider for the entire AI industry, would almost certainly trigger antitrust scrutiny. A licensing deal plus investment plus talent hiring is structurally different from an acquisition. It is harder to challenge. Lawmakers are already noticing. After the Groq deal, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal sent a formal letter characterizing the structure as a potential reverse acquihire and urging antitrust regulators to review it. That scrutiny has not produced enforcement. But it is a tension that was not there before Nvidia started using this structure repeatedly. Now what this means for OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and every other AI company. Every major AI lab runs on Nvidia hardware. The H100. The H200. The Blackwell architecture. Nvidia is the essential supplier for the industry, with market share estimated at over 90% of the AI accelerator market. When your essential supplier becomes your competitor, the strategic calculus changes. Nvidia now has access to model-building technology and model-building talent. It already has unlimited access to the hardware. It has relationships with every enterprise customer who buys AI infrastructure. The question every AI lab strategy team is asking today, if Nvidia builds frontier AI models, with better hardware access than anyone else, at lower cost than anyone else, and can bundle them with infrastructure sales, what does that do to the pricing power of standalone AI labs? This is not a question with an immediate answer. Nvidia's Nematron models have not challenged GPT or Claude on capability benchmarks. The Laguna models from Poolside are focused on coding, not general AI. Nvidia moving into models does not immediately threaten OpenAI's consumer business or Anthropic's enterprise position. What it does is change the long-term competitive landscape. In 5 years, if Nvidia has been building model capability while also controlling the hardware, the moat that OpenAI and Anthropic have built on model quality may face different competition than it does today. The company that controls the infrastructure has historically ended up controlling the platform. Intel in PCs, AWS in cloud. There is a reasonable argument that Nvidia, the infrastructure provider for AI, is positioning to follow the same pattern. Here is what I think this story tells us. Nvidia has spent 30 years selling the pickaxes in the gold rush. It has made more money than most of the miners. Today it paid $7 billion to become a miner too. Whether that makes it richer, or whether it simply introduces a conflict with the customers who account for its existing wealth, is the question the next few years will answer. The $7 billion is not a bet on a startup. It is a bet on a direction. Nvidia is saying, the infrastructure layer and the model layer are going to converge. And we want to be positioned on both sides when they do. Subscribe for daily AI coverage. One question, if Nvidia starts releasing frontier AI models that compete with Claude and ChatGPT, would you use a Nvidia model? Tell me yes or no and why. I read every comment.